New Book 1, From Then to Now, Part 45. I soon began to forget all that had taken place, because my being was now centred on what is happening now, and what lies before me. As we were standing at the edge of this new adventure, Rebazar Tars suddenly walked right into the light that covered this universe, and then disappeared. I knew he was the guide, but it was up to me to follow. I then went right after him, and found myself a little lost at first. This place was different than the 7th level. There was a whole new perception of some kind that was taking place within me. Suddenly I found that I was more of the light and sound than I had been familiar with on the lower levels. It was moving with me in a very subtle way, and having its own way about me. The sound was always present, as it made a low sustaining support to my being, as I was trying to realize a position in this new reality. I was very happy with myself, as I was being supported and led along by my heart's intent. I became aware of the presence of strange, brilliant shapes that moved about like shadowy vapours in this world, that seemed to be elusive from my presence. They would faintly come and go, but were so subtle, as they passed without a hint of what they were. My impression was they were beings that were very far advanced, and this is where they resided. There was also a sound that was more active in what seemed to be a far distance from where I was at. This sound was like a subtle storm out in the far reaches somewhere. It was taking place in the distance, and making itself evident, as I slowly entered a new stage of my experience. I began to realize this world knew I was here, and it knew everything about me. It knew that I was a beginner in this area, and that it was like a test for me to encounter what the realness of this place meant to my own being. While all of this was going on within myself, there was nothing but light, a solid rainfall of the most wonderful and brilliant whitish light. It was white, with a weaving of golden colour to it at times. As I was being aware of where I was beginning to get the feel of this unknown reality. I considered all the things that were taking place, while I was the observer from my position. I was starting to enjoy this new found being-isness that was unlike anything I had ever experienced before. It was an experience and feeling of something that was beyond the bliss that I had encountered on the 7th level. Then an impression came to me. It was Rebazar Tar's. He told me to move forward and to continue on. There was no real movement to what I was doing, only the notion to do so, that made the reality of my experience to become as it would. As I went forward into the heavy rainfall of light, I began to make out a subtle form in front of me. It was Rebazar Tar's. As I came to his awareness, he was now appearing as a very fine outline of a form of light that was mixed in with the surroundings as they moved about with a life of their own. My impression was that I must have looked the same, but I couldn't really see myself. He sent me an impression to me. The being who oversees this level far surpasses that of the 7th level. You will not be able to comprehend what he is. Let us go and see him, and how he will appear to us. We travelled out over the vast unknown areas that had faint and subtle appearances, like hills and rivers, and so on. But it was a lonely place that seemed to be hiding all its magnificent beauty, only for the very few who were able to make it this far. This was a region of mystery, unlike anywhere else. Rebazar Tars said there were many beings here with a super beingness that far surpasses anything imaginable, and they lived more in the invisible reality and preferred it that way. Now I knew what the strange shapes I saw were. I was learning to be patient, because it was only a matter of when all that I needed to know would be exposed to me. We continued into the thick softness of the light I was getting used to. It was a totally supportive experience, where I needed nothing for myself. I was experiencing a fuller type of true freedom that was like being the wind. There was a real beauty to this place that was so unlike the worlds of man and what is conceived to be life. In this place, you are the everything, as opposed to being a piece of life within the body forms that are always restless about something. The lower bodies are just temporary, until the real awareness is able to get past all of them, then the best part of life exposes itself to us. We are the experiencer of ourselves, and it is up to us to decide to go further into the bigger part that life has hidden from the average person. Rebazartars escorted me to the area where we were to meet the unknown being who served this level. It will be hard at first for you to comprehend who and what this being is. So be patient, and you will learn so much. Just go with the experience, and do not try and determine it, he said. I was rather excited, like a child that was about to get a present for his birthday, and at the same time I had a feeling and a wondering if I would survive what was to take place, because of all the awesomeness I was in. This being had a presence beyond all the others that oversaw the previous levels. I wondered how anything so unbelievable could exist, a being of such unreachable magnitude. We came to an open area where the light had parted a bit, and it was like a softness that was spread out for a great distance. Then I felt the presence of something very close that was totally affecting me in the most wonderful way. In a way, it was all the feelings and emotions that one could realize coming together and creating a form of euphoria that was unexplainable. It was an ecstasy that I never experienced before. The most impressive part was the strong and beautiful sound that was non-stop throughout the entire region and into my very being. I got an impression from Rebazartars to just be, and all would be known to me from the unknown being that oversees this level for the great reality. I began to sense the wisdom that was about to come into the heart of myself, and I was ready for it. There were no words, but impressions that seemed alive, that soon entered my awareness. This is the best I could make of what I was given. You have entered my unspeakable vastness to take the test of a lifetime, and to see if you are worthy. Not every being of awareness can come this far as you have. I am the guardian and caretaker of this hidden place that the mind and imagination of man cannot find. It takes a special desire and persistence, along with real courage, to enter this world, and the ones beyond this one. Your guide has brought you here to experience the wisdom that cannot be found anywhere but here. Listen closely and realize what so very few are able to. You have an opportunity that very few will ever know. You have the best guidance, and you are a strong-willed being that can take on the assignment you must with the ease. Your life on earth will not be easy, because you are not concerned that it is or not. You only want the experience and to know what is real. You are in the profound reality now, and you are having everything that life is granting you. When you relate what you have experienced and known to others, they will not believe you, because they mainly have one life only, and it belongs to the earth. Their view is from their conditioned mind of illusionary reason and logic. The history of all the lower worlds has provided so much information and knowledge for so many to seek something other than the voices of those who control the masses, and decide for them what is truth and what is not. Your task will be similar to theirs, only you will provide something that is missing amongst all the doctrines of the world, and that is the real connection, the secret sound to the ears. There is nothing that can really be said about where you are now and what is taking place. You have come to realize there is so much more than just the body forms and all the desires they are involved in. Once you finish this journey and return to your body, you will make the choice to continue to go into the unknown, or you will decide to stay the same, like most of the other people who walk the earth. You must be tested before you can go further into life. It is all part of the maturity all of us go through once you leave the limited levels. There is no life without the secret sound and light to agitate you into expanding your own awareness of what you already know. It is true that the All-Is will set you free from all things, but you must also take your place among the immortals that exist beyond the senses of all that can be considered. Mankind has never really experienced real love until one has entered the real universes of sound and light, It is not possible to experience true love where you are now in the human body and senses. This is why the people of Earth are confused into thinking that life comes from being born in a body, and the Earth supplies all that is needed to survive. The emotions that are exchanged from one person to another are the starting point, but only a shallow beginning to what eventually leads to real love and a real life, where there are no restrictions and no control over oneself from anyone. You must understand that most people want to be controlled. They want to be needed, but in doing so, they allow themselves to be a part of a collection of the unconscious returning group that looks constantly for the real light of life, but must accept the terms of the space gods instead. Your life and all that it entails are now fulfilled, because you have made the real connection to the allness, the sound of life. Who now can tell you what is real? Can the clergy or the prophets of ancient writings reveal what you are experiencing here? No, they know nothing. Do they bring their followers to this unseen place and have them know what exists beyond the fairy tales of the earthly gods? No, all of them know nothing. You are in the true reality, the heavens beyond, all the decided heavens of man. You know that no one can say that it is not so, but others will never know until they enter this level, and I test them to see if they are worthy, and you can realize my being and all that is. There will be more later, as you return once again in the future, but for now you may pass to the next level and experience what others will not.